I'm Naomi, and today I'm going to be planting a nice little pot with just tulips and some crocuses in. I've got this most magnificent tulip variety here called Princess Irene Parrot, and it's the parrot version of the classic Tulip Princess Irene, which is ever so popular. It's gorgeous orange colour, and this parrot version has bigger petals. They're a bit frilly and very over the top and bright, but that's just what I fancy for next spring. I think some nice bright colour to look forward to. And I've also got Crocus Gipsy Girl, just because I can't wait until April to see the tulip flowers. I'm just going to pop a few of these crocuses in the top, which will flower in around about February to March, and so just a little bit of something to keep it going until the tulip flowers come out. So it'll just be a little double display really, which will be nice. Okay, I've got a pot here, nice sturdy pot. That's what you'll need for big chunky tulips. It's nice and heavy. It's about 30 centimetres in diameter, which is a perfect size for about 8 or 9 big tulip bulbs. And you could put more in, but they'll be very close together. Remember, they've got leaves as well which bush out, and if they're too packed in together, there's quite a lot of competition, and you may find that they don't flower as well. So sometimes it's worth just putting slightly fewer than you think to fill out the display. And I've got some ordinary multi-purpose compost here, which is fine for tulips and crocuses. And the best time to plant tulips and crocuses is in the autumn. I like to leave it till November, which it is now, because I like to plant them into cold soil. If you plant them into warm soil a little bit earlier on in the season, they can start to grow, and that can cause a few problems with them. But usually they're fine to be planted between late September and early December. I think November is the optimum time. I've got some broken crocks here for the bottom of my pot. I don't usually bother with crocks and drainage if it's a small pot, but this one's quite a big pot, and there's a lot of it's going to take quite a lot of soil, and they don't really need that much soil, so I'm just going to put a few crocks in the bottom there for drainage so it doesn't get too soggy at the bottom. If you don't have broken crocks, you can use stones, or sometimes I use old plastic pots, because I always seem to have lots of these really old pots lying around, and you can just put them upside down in the pot, and that just takes up a bit of space. But I've got crocks at the moment, so I'll use those. So there's my drainage layer. Got some multi-purpose compost, and I'm just going to fill my pot to about 15-20 centimetres from the top. So when you're planting tulips, they need to be about 15 to 20 centimetres deep. If I was planting them in the ground, in a border, that would be the same. So 15 centimetres deep is absolutely enough. You can plant them a bit deeper in a pot if you want to, if you've got to make space for more layers. So I've got my Tulip Princess Irene Parrot here, and she's going in. I'm spacing my bulbs slightly closer together than I would in a border. In a border, there's more room. You space them out at about 10 to 15 centimetres apart. But in a pot, I'm going just under 10 centimetres apart here. So it looks nice and full, but not too cramped. And I've put 9 in there. I think that's just about right, actually. That should fill the pot nicely. And now I top up with some more compost. Remember to plant the tulip bulbs with the rounded side facing downwards and the pointy side facing upwards. Now I'm not going to plant the crocuses on a separate layer, I'm just going to push them into the top. They only need to be about 5 to 10 centimetres deep. They're only little bulbs, so planting that depth is perfect for them. And I'm just going to push them in. And I don't want loads in there, just enough to bring a little bit of earlier spring colour, so I don't have to wait so long for the tulips. So they're at a spacing of about 10 to 15 centimetres apart. There we go, in go my little yellow crocus, Gipsy Girl. Cover them over. And they will flower around about February to March and look really pretty while I'm waiting for the tulips to come up. They'll flower around the tulip foliage actually, and then just as they're sort of fading, the tulips will be starting to produce some lovely flower buds, and that will be really, really exciting to see. And so that just extends the season of colour and makes it a bit of a colour changing pot really, starting with a yellow, and then as those fade the orange tulips will come up, and there's double the joy. And that's all you need to do. You don't need to water them or anything like that, because planting in November, it's cold, it's damp, there's plenty of moisture in the air, in the compost, and there'll be rain and all sorts. You don't want them to be watered over the winter, they'll get too wet and cold and they might start to rot, so all you need to do is that and leave it. Full sun, partial shade is fine, and a nice spot on the patio will be absolutely ideal for these. And I hope you found my video useful. I hope you enjoy growing your own.